Order,
Who will benefit most from the tax credit?
I apologise to the member. Now, members are entitled to sit anywhere in this House, and we don't need a barrage of interjections. Stuart Nash, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Question number 11.
To the Minister of Revenue, who will benefit most from the tax credit described in the Taxation Income Sharing Tax Credit Bill as, I quote, intended to give couples greater freedom to work fewer hours or more flexible hours in order to care for children?
Honourable Peter Dunn.
Speaker, the couples who will benefit most are precisely those, the couples who want greater freedom to work fewer or more flexible hours in order to care for their children. Mr Speaker, this legislation and income sharing generally is about giving people more choices about the way in which they live their lives and determine their family affairs, and I cannot for the life of me understand why the member opposite is so opposed to that.
Stuart Nash.
Mr Speaker, how is it fair in a bill costing all taxpayers almost $500 million per year, a family with one parent single earner on a medium wage gets $19 a week, while a family with a single earner on $140,000 gets $175 a week?
Honourable Peter Dunn.
Mr Speaker, what the member overlooks conveniently, I suspect, is that in the first of his examples, that family will also be benefiting considerably from the Working for Families package, which costs considerably more than the cost of income sharing does.
Stuart Nash.
Mr Speaker, thank you. To the Minister, does he agree with Treasury, the Ministry of Social Development, the Department of Labour, Bill English and the Ministry of Women's Affairs, all of which point out serious flaws in the policy, with Treasury advising against the introduction of the credit because it costs too much and because most of the credits will go to those on the highest incomes?
Mr Speaker, no, I don't accept that advice. I'm surprised the member does, given his party's attitude to Treasury generally. As I said in my primary response, this is about giving parents some choices and some options, and I would have thought that the party opposite would be all in favour of choice and option, or has in fact the nanny state become too strong for them?
Sue Moroney.
To the Minister, is he aware then that both of the couples he gives as examples in the commentary on the income sharing tax credit bill would be better off if paid parental leave were to be extended to 6 months at much less cost to the country? And will he therefore support the introduction of the bill I have drafted to achieve 6 months paid parental leave?
Honourable Peter Dunn.
Mr Speaker, I think I've already separately answered that question in correspondence with the member. But what I can say is that to draw to the attention of the House some of the comments that are coming through from members of the public in response to this legislation, let me just quote from a couple of messages.
Order. The Minister was not asked what the members of the public thought about the proposal. The Minister was asked specifically about the relationship between extending paid parental leave. Now, the Minister did say he's discussed that with the member in correspondence, but the House is none the wiser. The Honourable Peter Dunn.
The member has approached me in my non-ministerial capacity about her member's bill, which is yet to be drawn as I understand it. I've indicated that from a United Future point of view, we do support the extension of paid parental leave, but that is not part of my ministerial responsibility in dealing with this question, hence my reference at the outset.
The Minister was asked for a comparison. Now, he may not have the information because the paid parental leave issue is not in his responsibility, but if the Minister doesn't have, because to clear a confusion, I invite Sue Moroney to repeat her question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, is he aware that both of the couples he gives as examples in the commentary on the income sharing tax credit bill would be better off if paid parental leave were to be extended to 6 months at much less cost to the country? And will he therefore support the introduction of the bill I have drafted to achieve 6 months paid parental leave?
Honourable Peter Dunn.
Mr Speaker, I repeat the answer that I gave beforehand in respect of the member's bill that is yet to be drawn from the ballot. I've given a response that is not one given in my ministerial capacity. With regard to the first part of the question, I think it's worth just drawing to the House the response of some real people who have commented since this legislation was drafted, because they actually go to the heart of the point the member was making. Let me just quote from one such correspondent in the time that I've got available to me. He says as follows: "My wife is a respected and skilled professional in her own right, and she also holds a master's degree. We made a choice that she would stay at home and take care of our children while I continued to work. It was a large financial impact to us, but in researching the effects of her returning to work compared to the negative effects, it was the right choice." Mr. Speaker, they are the sorts of families that will benefit from the income sharing package.
Stuart Nash.
Does the Minister expect this bill to have a third reading in this Parliament?
The Honourable Peter Dunn.
Mr. Speaker, I expect all legislation, once it's been properly considered by a select committee, to come back to this House and go through the normal stages prior to being implemented in law.
Question number 12, Chris Ochenval.
Thank you, Mr.